Welcome back to the 88th episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy. How are you?
I'm doing peachy.
You
So,
should be doing something green. Peaches aren't green. Or are you feeling pinky?
yes, I'm feeling a little pinkish.
There you go. That's
I'm
on
feeling,
brand.
I'm feeling stamped.
I can smell pink.
So this is Batman Season 2, Episode 52, Batman Satisfaction. Episode aired Thursday, March 2nd, 1967, directed by Oscar Rudolph and written by Charles Hoffman.
Yep.
When we last took leave of Batman and Robin, the Green Hornet had been made into a rare stamp and then thumbtacked to a wall by the corrupt Colonel Gumm. With Cato with Cato still stuck in the machine, being blocked and perforated, the dynamic duo watch helplessly, awaiting their turn to become stamped. Colonel Glum, uh, Colonel Gum laughs at the dynamic duo as Cato's stamp emerges from the machine. Only one mailman can stop this devious delivery. Magic Batman.
He's going postal. Magic Batman's going postal.
Magic Batman. Will the dynamic duo also become stamps? Answer: The Dark Knight says right. Maybe he's being sarcastic.
Wow. I didn't know that Magic Batman had that trait to him. So, I mean that shines a whole new light on a lot of his answers now.
Yeah. I mean,
But it wouldn't surprise me.
that's the only thing that can make sense with that statement.
By the way, there have been Batman stamps in the past. Do you have any Batman? Have you ever seen the Batman stamps?
I I think so. I think I have some stamps. I wish we should have mentioned this last week because then I could look for them. I may have some Batman stamps, or at least it may be just DC Comic stamps.
I think for an anniversary, they put out some Batman stamps. Yeah, I just thought of it just now because if I had prepared as well, I would have uh, brought mine out too. But yeah, for the 75th anniversary. They came out with some stamps and it chronicled all the comic eras of Batman anyway. So you have a Batman that represents the 40s, one that kind of resembles the 60s. It's not from the show, so it's all comic related, so it doesn't have but it kind of looks like maybe a little bit like the Batman from the 60 series, and then one from the 70s, 80s, and then one that's a lot more modern. So they were pretty cool looking. And they also, not only did they have stamps that actually depicted Batman himself, but they also had little stamps, little circular stamps that just had the bat symbol on them. There was four of those, and representing various points of his history. So those are pretty cool. I got a sheet of those. I don't know if they're worth anything, but they're pretty cool. So, and I think they're pretty reasonable if you want to get some like on secondary markets or whatnot. But they were pretty popular, pretty they printed up a lot of them, so they're not like hugely collectible, but they are pretty cool. Especially if you want to get like a couple to send to people and everything, because they're forever stamps, so you can still use them.
I'm very curious what stamps I have now because I can't remember if they're Batman or not.
They did come out with some DC did come out with some superhero stamps I'm not sure what year that was, but yeah, and that was all like there was a Batman one of those, but then there was Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, a bunch of other heroes as well. So yeah, I don't know which one you have either, but
I just know
they're pretty cool.
I know where they're at. They're in my they're in my bedroom closet up on a shelf in a box.
Well,
So
that's a good place for them.
so I know where they're at. I just have to dig through and find them.
But
I'm
as
very
far as I could tell, there's no Green Hornet stamps.
well,
So
isn't that a shame?
so those are pretty rare.
And they're even more rare because well, we'll get to it in a little bit.
All right.
Batman thinks that Colonel Gum will find them a much stickier proposition, but the Colonel disagrees. His invisible dis his invisible dissolving agent will penetrate anything and anybody. It dissolves glue in an instant. Once freed from the glue pad, Colonel Gum orders the Cape Crusaders into the enlarged perforating and coiling machine to be stamped with his disapproval.
Man,
Batman
Roger Carmel is just man, he chews every bit of scenery that there is. Like he is really going over the top, almost too much, but I do enjoy it, and it's written really well. Some of his puns are just really like head shaking, and they're great. He delivers them really well. So I give him credit, but like I said, he maybe it's a little, just a smooch over the top, too much, but it's but yeah, this never would have happened on like the Green Hornet show, like because they just didn't do stories like this. So
Batman and Robin start punching henchmen. Batman orders Robin to turn off the switch. Quickly, Batman turns some handles to loosen the panel. Batman states that the Green Hornet and Kato are still alive in the machine. By loosening the panel, it will give them time to use their Hornet sting. While Batman and Robin are busy with the machine, Colonel Gumm orders his men to load up the cases of stamps. He'll meet them in the garage with their hostage, Miss Pinkston. Holy living end! A small explosion blows the panel from the machine. The Green Hornet and Kato emerge from the smoky machine. The Green Hornet explains that there was a small niche between the gum applier and the perforating needles. There wasn't enough room to use his hornet sting to blast them out until the panel was loosened. Robin wonders how the machine took their picture. The Green, or- the Green Hornet answers that no doubt an automatic image orthicon of some kind. Batman tells Green Hornet he is wrong. It is a high velocity spectrobiscopic range reflector mini unit.
I give credit to both you and Adam West for being able to say that.
I could say I practiced. Colonel Gum goes to his office to retrieve Miss Pinkston. He is outraged that she is feeding that pink mutt his alphabet soup. Miss Pinkston reports that Apricot was hungry. Besides, she was only down to the D's. Back in the other room, Robin wonders how Batman knew the Green Hornet was still alive. Batman responds that when this masked meddler was tossed in the machine, he had that gruesome gizmo with him. If you look at the giant stamp, the gizmo is missing. The Green Hornet comments that in saving them, Batman has allowed the assailants to escape. None too smart for a smart crime fighter. The Green the Green Hornet and Kato leave. Robin asks Batman why they are just letting them go. Batman states, as a duly deputized officer of the law, he had no tangible evidence to hold them on. As the Cape Crusaders are leaving the stamp factory, Batman stops in his tracks. He smells pink, expensive pink perfume, that is, worn by Pinky Pinkston. Batman decides she was locked up in the foreman's office. Inside the office, the dynamic duo discover a bowl of alphabet soup. Pulling out his bat magnifying glass, Batman notices that the J's, Q's, and Z's are missing. Holy uncanny, holy uncanny photographic mental processes.
There you
Miss
go.
Miss Pinkston expected Batman here tonight. No doubt she left a message in the soup. Batman pours the alphabet soup into an empty alphabet soup bat container, the right tool for the right job.
Which he pulls from behind him, along with the funnel as well. And then after he collects the soup, he puts them back behind him. I'm like, where is this stuff going?
He's got a pouch on his utility belt in the back of behind his cape, apparently.
I mean, that's just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
In the Batcave, Robin never realized there was no punctuation marks in alphabet soup. The hot the hotline phone rings. It's Commissioner Gordon. His men found the giant stamps of the Green Hornet and Kato. Batman assures Commissioner Gordon that the Green Hornet and Kato are very much alive. They can rip up the stamps. And that's what I was talking about. Even more rare. They're ripping up those stamps.
Yeah, I wouldn't rip those up. Those
I
are,
wouldn't either.
they're kind of cool.
They could have hung those in the Batcave. Now, you know what? That's what
It's
the
true. There's no
Batman.
trophies in the
There's no
Batcave.
trophies in there. There's no giant dinosaur, no giant penny. That would have been that would have been perfect for this show.
Yeah, they
Instead, we have an atomic pile
yes, we do. And a lot of computers.
and a lot of computers. Nowadays they just be using their phones. Alfred apologizes for the intrusion, but Mr. Reed is upstairs and would like to see Bruce Wayne. Batman tells Robin to keep up the good work, old chum. Robin complains that there are more letters in the soup than in the alphabet.
Yeah, well that's the way that works. That's the way that works, Robin.
I was disappointed because we don't see Bruce go up the bat pole.
No.
So, missed opportunity.
Well, I mean that costs money, Drew.
How why can't they just reuse footage from other episodes like they did before?
Well, then you've already seen it.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Oh, by
Brit
the
is
way, I should point out too, when Batman is pouring the alphabet soup into his thermos, uh, when he motions the bowl of soup, there's enough letters that stick on the bottom of the bowl that it looks like an S. They look like it's the shape of a big S in the bowl. And just for a split second, there he is like holding this bowl like on it, like in his chest, and it looks like there's an S symbol on his chest.
huh.
So
Didn't
it's
notice.
I don't know if it's an actual like Easter egg for Superman or if it's just an accident, a happy accident, but I've seen that screenshot and yeah, it just looks funny because there's this big S made of alphabet soup
Hmm.
letters. But yeah, I think it's an accident. I don't think they planned it, but yeah, it's cool.
Brit is worried about Pinky. Nobody answered at her apartment or the factory. He wondered if something happened to her. Britt states he met Batman in Commissioner Gordon's office. Batman sends his regards. He asks Batman what kind of guy he is. Bruce answers an enigma. He doesn't know him really well. Bruce adds if the Green Hornet tangled with Batman last night, Green Hornet Green Hornet would have gotten the worst of it. Britt replies that would be a switch. The Green Hornet usually comes out the winner. Bruce states that is because you have no Batman in your city.
Hmm.
Britt
They're
is
throwing
still,
down the gauntlet, Drew.
yep, they sure are. Britt is still worried about Pinky. Bruce states that Pinky can take care of herself. Bruce asks Britt if he would trade places with Green Hornet or Batman. Britt answers not with Batman. He wouldn't be caught dead wearing that crazy cowl of his. Back in the Batcave, Robin informs Batman that he is getting no place fast with the alphabet mishmash. Batman flips the Bat computer and gesture switches. Batman decides to feed the letters into the Bat computer using the Bat funnel. They are easy to digest.
He- okay.
I'm like,
He
what?
doesn't take all the letters. You know, Robin is still working on some of the letters in front of him, and Batman takes like a bunch that are on the side, but then he doesn't take the ones that Robin. I'm sorry, how could he get a complete picture?
I want to know why these writers think that you can feed stuff into the Bat computer.
I mean, it's fun. We've seen them.
We've
Yeah,
seen them do it before, but
this is not the first time.
no.
Heck, it
I
spat out spaghetti one time. I mean, uh, so if it can spit out spaghetti, then you can feed it alphabet soup. That just makes sense, Drew.
yeah. I guess
That's
they've been
the
watching
bat
too
logic.
guess they've been watching too much Star Trek because they have a they have machines that can dispense food. The Bat computer did it. The message reads, if anyone can decode this message, Gumm is taking me to the warehouse as hostage. Watch stamp exhibition tonight. Pinky Pinkston.
That's a
Batman,
long message, by the way.
yeah.
And she signed it, her full name, too.
Batman figures that no. Batman figures that Miss Pinkston fed all the J's, Q's, and Z's to Apricot, her pink Maltese. Robin thinks that some of Bruce Wayne's female friends sound a little dizzy.
Oh, you wait, Robin. You'll see what you put up with.
Miss Pinkston wasn't the only clever one. The Bat computer punctuated the note. Batman feeds a yellow page into the Bat computer to find Miss Pinkston's location, but the Bat computer shuts down. Okay, I gotta stop here because I
No,
thought
no, no, no. This is crazy. Now, you thought the alphabet feeding the alphabet soup at the computer was crazy? What happens here is nuts.
I know he just flips through the yellow pages randomly, tears out a page without looking at it, and just feeds it into the Bat computer. I'm like, what information is it getting from this yellow page?
Like, why can't you just look in the yellow pages and look at that page? Why do you need the back computer to look at that page? Like it doesn't. It's now we've seen him feed the whole uh directory into the back computer once, right?
I believe, yeah, I believe I remember that.
So it should already be in there. The yeah, but then he yeah, then he then he tears out a page and I'm like, okay, well, you might need that page later, Batman. I don't you're gonna have to get another one, I guess. Although they come every year. So remember those
Yeah.
days when you used to get
Oh
phone
yeah.
books every year on your doorstep? That was
And then
crazy.
you'd have a whole big white page and then a whole yellow page for businesses and
Yep,
advertising and
yep,
stuff. So you get
absolutely.
two big, huge books.
That's
They were
true.
huge.
They were huge. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, depending on where you lived. I mean, I grew up in a small town, so it wasn't that big. But if you have, if you live in a, I mean, you lived in a suburb of Indianapolis, right? So that's both. Those are big. Those are
Yeah.
large directories, and I think even as like when I moved to Atlanta just 30 years ago, I was still getting phone books. So. I mean, it hasn't been that long since they started stopped coming, but yeah, totally not necessary now.
Nope. Alfred informs Batman and Robin that Mrs. Cooper's hairdryer was short-circuited, and half the electricity in the entire establishment is off, as well as the telephone lines. Alfred has sent for a telephone repairman and an electrician, but it may take hours.
Yeah, we don't see Madge Blake in this episode. It's another one that she's not that she's absent from, but she has an impact still.
Yes, she does.
And Harriet
And,
still has an impact.
and I'm wondering what this electrician's going to think of all these wires going to the Batcave.
Shh. Yeah, that's just no, they're just going into the study, Drew.
Okay.
Like, wow, what do you got going on in your study that you've got all this power and phone stuff going into your study?
Well,
Well,
you would think the Batcave would run off the atomic pile.
exactly. That's what I was just thinking. So, the computers would run off that as well. They would not be on the same circuit as the mansion. Yes, this is ridiculous, but guess what? It's on brand for the show. So,
Yep. Batman sits down in a chair, stating that because of a woman's vanity, a battle may be lost. Robin is surprised at Batman. Many battles have been won before electricity and telephone were invented. Just arrange to have the stamp exhibit. Just arrange to have the stamp exhibition in the Constellation Room tonight, well publicized. Then there's bound to be some action. A bat climb up Gotham Towers West will help us flex our muscles. Chin up, old chum.
this might be the first time, it's a weird scene, but it might be the first time that I think Robin has referred to Batman as old chum.
Yep. I don't
So,
remember it before.
it's kind of an interesting moment, but I don't know if it's earned, but it's still noticeable.
Yeah, it was basically Robin taking the mentor role.
Yeah, which I don't think we've ever seen before.
Nope, not that I remember. Meanwhile, the scene of battle shifts to an isolated warehouse where Pinky Pinkston is being held hostage by Colonel Gumm. Colonel Gumm informs Pinky that Bruce Wayne was in the shop of his stamp dealer yesterday afternoon, making inquiries about the missing stamp of her father's, the Gotham, the Gotham Gothic. Then last night, the Green Hornet mentioned the same stamp and the same stamp dealer. Colonel Gum strongly suspects that Bruce Wayne is the Green Hornet and Britt Reed is Batman.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know, we have very rarely seen villains try to figure out who's who. So it's interesting that he kind of makes that connection and that they bring that up here because like I said, we don't usually the villains just don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some villains kind of, think about it, but I mean, they have ample opportunities because they capture them every week. So they could take the cowl off and the masks off at any time they wanted to, but they do not. So, yeah, so far Gum is the only one that seems to have an interest in this. Um, and before that, before they go back and forth, isn't he complaining because his alphabet soup doesn't have as many continents,
Yes, I think he has one of the
consonants?
henchmen bring him a box of consonants.
Yeah, which is like, which is yeah, just crazy.
Pinky states that she could never believe that. Pinky also wonders how Colonel Gum knows what Bruce Wayne was telling his stamp dealer. Reprint, Reprint tells his boss not to spill any more beans. Colonel Gum wishes Miss Pinkston a goodbye. By the time she is found, he shall be thousands of miles away with a fortune that'll make the pink chip stamps empire look like pink peanuts. After Colonel Gum leaves, Pinky orders Apricot to get to work on the ropes around her wrist.
She's pretty able. She gives a message to the dynamic duo in Alphabet Soup with Apricot's help, and now she's breaking out. She's escaping with Apricot's help too. So the two of them are pretty formidable.
Yeah. It's almost like a resume for her to be Batgirl.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but
Later on at Commissioner Gordon's office, Miss Pinkston informs the commissioner that Bruce Wayne is the Green Hornet and Britt Reed is Batman. Inconceivable, Commissioner. Inconceivable. Commissioner Gordon will call them at once and have them come to his office. Miss Pinkston adds if either Britt or Bruce arrive, then Colonel Gumm is wrong. After all, Batman and the Green Hornet are dead. After all, Batman and the Green Hornet are dead. Commissioner Gordon hangs up the phone. No, they are not, Miss Pinkston. Commissioner Gordon talked to Batman earlier today. He sounded very much alive and stated the Green Hornet was too. Batman asked Commissioner Gordon to publicize the International Stamp exhibition this evening. Batman may be intending to smoke out the Green Hornet. It is decided that the trio will head over to the Constellation Room at once.
yeah, and again, not a great moment for Commissioner Gordon. We they just they're just stumped. They don't know what to do, and they're getting like Pinky is taking charge. And she's like, "This is what we should do." And they're like, "Right, let's go."
Maybe she should be commissioner.
Well, yeah, forget being Batgirl. She could be commissioner.
Elsewhere, Green Hornet is worried about another clash with the Cape Crusaders. This double identity poses extra problems, and the dynamic duo think they're criminals. They must come out on top. Kato replies, Kung Fu is Kung Fu. It's not child's play. The
The
Cape,
they don't put him on here, but throughout the episode, the two-parter, we see Green Hornet and Kato when they do mask up. And unlike Batman and Robin, their masks are like a hard plastic. They wear them like sunglasses, and
yeah,
it's
I
pretty
noticed that.
badass, right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they just put them on like they're safety glasses or something.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're pretty cool looking. Uh, much easier well, I don't know how you carry those, but they seem like they're much more comfortable and much easier to work around when, but not, he doesn't have a cape. Well, Green Hornet, makes fun of Batman. He doesn't have a cape and a cowl, but he has this like long overcoat, which is, kind of the same thing. And he doesn't, as far as we know, he doesn't have a utility belt, but he does have a couple of weapons. I mean, he does have the Hornet Sting, a Stinger, and a couple of other things too. So they do have devices that they can use, but I think Batman is definitely more equipped. And
Yeah.
I don't mean that in any other way than just his belt.
They don't have to go up and down poles to put on their costumes either.
No, they don't.
The Cape Crusaders are scaling the side of Gotham Tower West, and there's nothing quite like a bat climb. Suddenly, the legendary film actor Edward G. Robinson pops his head out the window, letting the Cape Crusaders know there are other ways to get into this building. Batman responds that none provide the element of surprise that they need.
Now, are you familiar with Edward G. Robinson?
No, I had to look up. I was like, who is this guy?
Wow. Edward G. Robinson is a legend. A legendary actor. He had well over 100 acting credits over 6 decades. He started in 1916. And I think one of his last roles was Soylent Green in 1974. So, and he played in a lot of like big movies. He like one of his biggest ones that really kind of set the tone for his career was in 1931. He played a gangster in Little Caesar, and that performance was so iconic that it kind of overshadowed a lot of it was hard for him to like break out of that, although he did have some opportunities to do that, but he was known as a gangster guy, kind of like James Cagney, but Edward Gene Robinson's style was a little bit different. They often imitated, say, you want to mess with me, say. That's Edward G. Robinson. Yeah, yeah, that's me. I'll get you. That's Edward G. Robinson, and I did a terrible Edward G. Robinson, by the way. So don't take that for what it's worth. Um, but he was also featured in 1944's Double Indemnity. He's not a mobster in that one. He has a really fun role in that. Key Largo, he is a mobster. It's probably one of the last times he plays a bad guy like that. That's in 1948. That's a Bogart and Bacall movie. And he was in The Ten Commandments in 1956. So those are just like a handful of big movies that he did. But he also, in addition to acting, later in life, he was a art collector. And I think more than acting is what spawns his appearance here in this cameo, because he talks about why he's in town.
Batman asks the actor what he is doing in Gotham City. The actor responds that some of the paintings from his collection go on exhibit tomorrow. Batman is afraid that crime fighting allows him only the luxury of collecting criminals. Robin asks that he should see the great mug shots they have. Batman goes to reprimand Robin, but is interrupted by Robinson, who states, "Who knows who posed for the Mona Lisa? Maybe one of the wickedest women in the world, but what a smile."
Um, right before that, Robinson says, "Hey, you two should be depicted as painted. Your likeness would be a great painting, and I wonder who should paint you." And he and Batman go back and forth with some legendary painters. And Robin pipes in maybe pop art, which, of course, um, Batman was all about pop art. I mean, it was on it was like really part of that whole pop art movement in the 60s. Batman was a living, breathing, live example of that on TV. And Robinson will have none of it though, and he quite famously did not care for pop art at all, especially artists like Andy Warhol. He mentions the line in this episode, "I think canned tomato soup is to eat, not to frame and to hang on a wall." So he's taking a shot at Andy Warhol here. Soup again is talked about in this episode. I don't know why we're spending so much time with soup, but um, and interestingly, note too, Edward C. Robinson, like I said, he was a collector, a vast collector of paintings, so much so that one of his colleagues that he opened galleries. I think he co-owned a gallery, if I'm not mistaken, or they had a lot in common in Los Angeles. Was fellow actor and art collector, Vincent Price, who of course is Egghead. So those two were definitely uh, together on the art scene in Los Angeles. And I don't know what Vincent Price thought of pop art, but Edward G. Robinson, as is clear, does not care for it. See, I don't care for it. See, all right, I'll stop.
In the Constellation Room, all the way from the Argentine and Senor Bar Barboza, who is dominating the stamp exhibition. His renowned Howling Monkey stamp has been entered for one of the prizes. He expects to walk away with everything tonight.
Yeah. Well, it should be noted too that Barbosa is played by Carmel. It's one of Gumm's deceptions is one of his characters that he plays. So not only do we get Carmel playing Gumm, but we get him play like these various other roles when he's sort of and for a story that's about dual identities, we have a villain that adopts different identities depending on the situation himself.
Yeah, and he's not even false face.
He is not. Oh, I miss Falseface.
The Green Hornet and Kato sneak into the Constellation Room unobserved from the service stairs.
Yeah, right.
At the same time, the Cape Crusaders enter through the I wrote that weird too. At the at the same time, the Cape Crusaders enter through the window and quickly hide behind some curtains. Mr. Stample reveals the famous stamp from Egypt, the inverted Blue Nile. One of the henchmen informed Colonel Gumm that the Green Hornet and Batman have just entered the room. Mr. Stample shouts that it's the Green Hornet, and the patrons go into a panic. Batman and Robin reveal themselves from the curtain, and a fight ensues. Once Colonel Gumm and his henchmen are dispensed, Batman takes on the Green Hornet while Robin takes on while jeez, Batman takes on the Green Hornet while Robin battles against Kato.
Okay, so the Green Hornet and Kato and Batman both attack the henchmen. But throughout the that whole conflict, there are several times where Green Hornet and Kato face or get hit by Batman and Robin. Um, Particularly Green Hornet takes a couple of shots from Batman that are that look pretty bad. And you get to see it's a shame because it's such a short glimpse, but you do get to see a glimpse of Bruce Lee as Kato in action. And it is one of the most exciting choreography fights, fight choreographies that we've ever seen on this show. Because usually we just see guys swinging and slugging each other. We don't see martial arts on this show.
Mm-mm.
This is the
Nope.
first time, and Bruce is smooth and fast, and Burt Ward's stunt double is taking it big time. Um, and this was the matchup more so than Batman versus Green Hornet. The matchup that everybody was kind of excited about was Kato versus Robin. And there's a lot of like stories about this meeting. And I don't know how much of it is true or how much of it, whatever, took on another life. But best I can figure out is that, and depending on what story you read, what version you read, Bruce Lee and Burt Ward were actually friends. They knew each other. I think they lived close to each other, and they might have even trained together. Because I know Burt Ward actually had martial arts training. He actually had, I think, a belts or two. I don't know what color it was, but I don't think he got to black. But I don't know. But anyway, um, but I guess Bruce decided to take a joke. Decided to play a joke on Burt Ward because they were friends, and he that day that they were supposed to do the fight scene, Lee was very serious. And moved around and didn't talk to Ward. He was just kind of brushing him off, and it looked like he had some serious attitude. And when they went to face off, Ward was kind of nervous, and he said, because he's like, "Oh my God!" Like he's like, "Bruce, don't. This isn't a real fight. Don't hit me." And the crew was laughing, and a lot of times they did laugh at Bert's expense. I think they said something to the effect of, "Hey, it's the Black Panther versus the Yellow Chicken." So uh Lee finally like let Ward know that he was just playing a joke on him and he was, everything was good. But and it's pretty obvious that uh that I mean, it's pretty obvious that Kato is kicking Robin's butt. I love during the fight sequence. At one point, Kato turns to Green Hornet and says, "It's a good thing those guys are on our side, even though they don't know it." And then they cut to Robin, who, after he's been hit by Kato, and he turns to Batman and he goes, "Man, it's a good thing these guys aren't in town every week." Because yeah, Robin is getting his butt kicked, and it does. Yeah, I mean, there's no question that that he's the martial artist that he is. So and I think we've established that Bruce Lee was one of the best fighters that existed in the movies, and maybe in real life, who knows? But except if you're uh oh wait, so what's the character's name? If you're Cliff Booth, right, from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you can talk smack about Bruce Lee, because I think Brad Pitt playing Booth in Once Upon a Time had some words to say about Bruce Lee. But in any case, Burt Ward is no Cliff Booth.
Pinky Pinkston, Commissioner Gordon, Chief O'Hara, and a team of police officers arrive at the Constellation Room.
I should
Colonel,
point out, when the police officer arrived, the first one out there is police sergeant saying, getting everybody's attention, and it's our buddy James O'Hara.
yep.
Yeah, you recognize him now, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, this is one of his many appearances as a cop, Gotham cop, and he's right there front and center.
Colonel Gumm and his henchmen regroup. They decide to go out the window and come up behind Pinky and the Fuzz.
Pinky and the
Colonel
Fuzz. Sounds like a sitcom.
Colonel Gumm grabs Miss Pinkston and pulls a gun on her. If anyone makes a move, then Miss Pinkston will be a dead pink duck. The Cape Crusaders and the Green Hornet and Cato stop their fighting. The Green Hornet tells Cato that the Cape Crusaders can handle this. They leave. Batman orders Robin out the window. They're going to come up behind Colonel Gumm.
Which is
Colonel,
exactly what Colonel Gumm did just a little bit before that. When he saw that Pinky Pinkston was there with the cops, he said, "Let's go in here and like go out the window. We can go around and sneak up behind him." And that's exactly what Batman does as well.
yep. Colonel Gumm orders his men to grab the loot. Batman and Robin sneak up behind Colonel Gumm and grab his gun. Robin pulls off Gumm's beard, revealing Miss Pinkston's foreman with assorted aliases and some sordid stooges. Chief O'Hara is the first to notice that the Green Hornet is gone. Commissioner Gordon wonders what he wanted in the first place. Robin believes it was a piece of the counterfeit stamp ring. Batman considers that he might have meant to uncover the entire ring. Commissioner Gordon scoffs. The Green Hornet? A crime fighter? Holy unlikelihood.
I don't know if this is like we kind of get the sense now that Batman might be suspecting that Green Hornet is actually a good guy here. So it's too bad that the series didn't get a chance to follow this up and do more with it, because it could have been fun to explore this relationship between them.
Yep. At dinner, Pinky admits to Britt that a lot of people think he is Batman and that Bruce is the Green Hornet.
They don't even live in the same city.
I know. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it?
I mean, they would have to commute. I don't know how far away. I think the Green Hornet is in Detroit. So we don't know where Gotham is, but
No, we don't.
it sometimes it seems like New York, sometimes it seems like LA. We don't know. So, but yeah, it's not really feasible that they could be the same, because they just don't live in the same place.
Bruce Wayne calls the Batcave from a payphone. He has Alfred put the black phone to the hotline phone. Batman asks Commissioner Gordon to do him a favor. Call Miss Pinkston in the community room on his regular phone and then put the two phones together. So we got Alfred putting phones together and then Commissioner Gordon putting phones together.
Yeah, we've seen the phone together thing a few times now. That technology is awesome. Before, I mean, people get, that's why. that's why, and younger people don't understand this, but that's why for us older people, like conferencing people in with cell phones, we always end up hanging up on people because it doesn't make sense to us. We just would like to be able to take the devices and put them next to each other.
In the community room, Miss Pinkston receives a call from Batman. He thanks her for cooperating with him and the police department in running down her villainous foreman and apparently chasing the Green Hornet out of town. Miss Pinkston states she did nothing, but tells Batman it was sweet of him to call. Britt asks Pinky if that phone call disproves her ridiculous theory. She replies that she guesses it does. Pinky asks Britt not to mention her theory to Bruce. He thinks she was an awful fool. Bruce returns to the table, stating his keys were in his pocket the whole time. Bruce turns to Apricot. Now, Apricot, as you were saying, Pinky calls Bruce a nut for talking to a dog. All three laugh,
Ha 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 ha. Wah wah.
which is kind of a weird ending.
It was a weird ending. And but ultimately this is a high point in the show. I think almost everybody agrees with that. This one is always highest rated as far as a lot of the episodes go. I think in some cases, some people might feel it's like one of the best, last of the best episodes to come. I don't know. We'll see about that. But the team up between Batman and Green Hornet is important. It is groundbreaking. And I think ultimately it's pretty solid. I think it, sure, could it have been better, more action packed? It's sure it could have been a better villain, maybe, but I think overall it was, it's fun to watch. And I've seen this one multiple times.
And I know I've seen it before too, even though I didn't remember everything in it.
Sure, sure. I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on, maybe a little too much. But it's a nice start actually, and it would have been nice if this had continued.
All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Do you have a shout out, Mike?
Well, speaking of continuation, the so last week for the Green Hornet episode, I gave a shout out to Moonstone because they have the license to publish Green Hornet in prose stories, and they've been doing a wonderful job at that. We talked about some of the amazing books that have come out from Moonstone with the Green Hornet, and I encourage people to check those out. Now, the comic book license for the Green Hornet is, I don't know if it's current, but for the longest time was owned by Dynamite, and they did some incredible work. They had a series called Green Hornet Year One, by written by Matt Wagner, who's one of my favorite comic book artists and creators, writers. And it was really good. I definitely recommend seeking that out. It's 2 volumes, or you can get an omnibus. It's incredible. Like it's a really great depiction of the Green Hornet. It doesn't go by the series though. It goes by sort of the radio and the original pulp origins of the Green Hornet as a character. But it's worth seeking out. It's one of the best things I can recommend from about the Green Hornet. But more importantly, Dynamite also did a crossover with DC, in which Batman and the Green Hornet meet, and this is a direct continuation of this two-parter. In fact, they come across not Colonel Gumm, but now he's General Gumm. So they come across a character, the villain. He has evolved in this series, in this story, and he's on the loose, and he's teamed up with the Joker.
Hmm.
And so you have General Gumm and the Joker versus Batman and Green Hornet. And like I said, it does reference a few other things that happen in this storyline. So this is as close as it gets to a sequel to this wonderful story, this two-parter. I definitely recommend seeking it out. It's written by Kevin Smith. Yes, that Kevin Smith, the Clerk's Kevin Smith. He also is a big fan of the Green Hornet and has written some Dynamite comics of the Green Hornet character. So this is on brand with that, and I definitely recommend seeking this out. So I think it's available not just in hardcover form, but I think it's also available um, in soft cover and digitally, and however you get your comics. So I'd recommend that. That is my shout out.
All right. And for my shout out, I'm going to shout out about a comic book too. This comic book is a Star Trek comic book. I guess who's on the cover?
There he is, Carmel himself.
So I actually had this comic at one time and then lost it or misplaced it or something. And I found this one at an antique store.
Oh wow.
So this is published by DC.
Yes.
So when they had the Star Trek
License.
license, thank you, the Star Trek license, and this one was actually written by Len Wein. So and it's the Return of Harry Mudd, and it's a very fun story.
Yeah, yeah. Those that run of Star Trek with DC is pretty good. I like that run. It takes
Yeah,
place, I think, in between the movies, and it's solid.
yeah, and there's some crazy stuff that happens in that issue, but it's a fun issue to read.
Yeah, I would
So,
say more than Colonel Gumm. I think Carmel is known for playing Harry Mudd,
yep.
and which we talked about last episode. And yeah, that's an awesome shout out.
Right? If you'd like to comment on anything we've talked about tonight, you can reach us at our feedback line 317-455-8411. Text us, leave us a message, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com. All right, you ready to get out of here, Bat Chum?
Bat chums are ready to move out.
Atomic batteries the power, turbines the speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Don't worry, the tut is yet to come.